Hello everyone, my name is Gus.
Hi, I'm Woody.
Today we're reacting to a video that was recorded by the CEO of Inner Space Systems. They make rebreathers. And obviously I think people in this show have seen us talk about KISS rebreathers a lot because that's where we dive. But, you know, just to say that we love KISS rebreathers and we think they're amazing and safe doesn't mean that we're dissing on other brands and saying that other rebreathers are unsafe. As a matter of fact, you and I, and a lot of other people, by the way, believe that rebreather diving is safer than open circuit diving.
What I believe is that if you have the proper training, I believe we have more options to deal with a problem on a rebreather than we potentially do on open circuit.
That's right.
I'd rather describe it that way.
Yep. So Leon took one of his mech rebreathers down to 200 feet. And then he started basically causing problems on purpose.
Oh, I've seen this one. This is amazing.
To show that rebreathers are safer than open circuit in a lot of cases.
This is cool.
So I wanted to show that. And hopefully,
this is an old one. I've seen this way back in some rebreather
oldie
training.
But goodie.
Really good, everybody. This is awesome.
Yeah, buddy. Cold.
I'm Leon Scamahorn, CEO of Inner Space Systems Corporation. The purpose of today's dive is to conduct destructive testing of the Megalodon CCR. The first step that I'll do is take the hoses out of my mouth, conduct a flood drill. This will be done at 60 meters or 200 feet. I'll be operating off of one sensor. Not three sensors. Two are physically disconnected.
Wow.
I'll have the heads-up display telling me what sensor 1 is, what my PO2 is. So I'll have two handsets I will physically cut off underwater, and my source of oxygen will be the solenoid and my manual bypass. The main purpose of this is to put myself as a corporate officer on the line. I believe in my product.
I have some comments. I'm going to wait, though. I do want to add some context to this. By the way, I'd like to see his tank trim. Slightly better. Sorry.
The first step that I'll do is take the hoses out of my mouth, conduct a flood drill.
That's bad. So let's talk about the two things that will cause you to fully bail out of your rebreather.
One is a full flood. And what that means for those of you that really, I think there's some explanation needed that may not know, is that we have a loop with a rebreather. We're just breathing in and out of the same loop and removing the carbon dioxide and adding back oxygen that we metabolize. The loop cannot get wet, cannot get water in it. Otherwise, it can cause the sorb, which removes the CO2, to basically turn caustic. It's like alkaline battery acid in your mouth.
Right.
That's one reason to bail out. You can't be on the loop with a flooded loop.
And bailing out means we carry an open circuit setup with us, meaning a tank with a regulator, just like a regular scuba diver. And if something happens to the rebreather, like a full flood, as Woody explained, we literally stop using the rebreather and bail out to open circuit.
On our rebreather. And that's where I was going to add commentary. On the KISS rebreather.
On the KISS rebreather.
I happen to know that rebreather that he's about to demonstrate it on, some rebreathers have water traps to prevent the water from going all the way into the sorb. And we don't have those water traps on a KISS rebreather.
That's right.
The second reason we bail out is if we have what's called a CO2 breakthrough, that the sorb, for whatever reason, one is it could be wet, or two is it just failed, we overused it, or it has channeling to allow gas to go through it without removing the CO2.
Right.
Bail out to open circuit again on that as well. Those are two that we would no longer go back on the loop for.
Right. So in other words, you don't take the loop out of your mouth because it will get wet. Well, that's exactly what he's about to do.
Then I'll recover the breathing loop. Then I'll do a flood drill, purging the water out of the left counterlung. And that cleared the left hose out, so I didn't hear any annoying gurgling on the left side. Now I'm about to cut the primary handset.
Before he cuts it, let me add some commentary as well. On rebreathers, the inhale side is the left side. So you heard him say, I'm going to clear the water out of the left side in particular because that's the side that the air is going to come back in his mouth on. That's the side for sure you don't want any water in. Mm-hmm. If you get some water in on the right side, and I know it's opposite to what the camera's seeing, you can basically get that water out, take the loop out, you close the loop in our case, and shake the water out so it drops back into our canister. Because that's the exhale side. That's a little bit safer. But he put water in the inhale side, and apparently he can purge that out on his rebreather.
Yep.
If we had water, a flood on that inhale side on ours, you are
Bail
off
out.
the loop.
It's over.
And dive is over. Okay.
Yep.
Now we're going to cut the primary. This is wild.
Which is already set for the auto set point system, which is maintaining my PO2 at about 1.2 or 1.3. And I'm diving off of one sensor there this whole time. One sensor, that's sensor number 1. Good firm cut, cameraman can see it. Bam, it's gone. The handset's just a monitor, it's not a brain. So cutting the handset off doesn't affect the Meg at all. Checking my PO2. All right, now I'm gonna go for the secondary. In this case, it's a Shearwater Pursuit. So now I lose my independent system on the right side. There it goes.
Yep. Every time he does that, I'm like, oh.
All I have now is a Shearwater Predator on the left arm, which is not hooked up to anything. There's no cable, no nothing. It's just set for 1.2. Now I've got my scissors out. And now I'm going to go ahead and open up the loop.
Oh, man. Okay.
Cut the counterlung.
Let me stop on each one. This is really interesting. It's really great you're doing this video because it's giving me an explanation to actually explain a lot of the drills that we do in training. We don't go to this extent. We don't cut loops in computer games. No. We simulate it.
That's right.
If you lose your computers, I'd say that's a fair summary in this case of what happened to him.
Right.
He's cut the wire. We have a known gas that we're carrying with us, right? We have a bailout gas, and that gas has to be safe at any depth we're at in the dive, meaning we could breathe off of that at any point and nothing's going to happen.
Right.
So if we lose our computers, we would basically do what's called a dill flush. In other words, flush the loop with that known gas completely, and then we also have another drill where we do what's called a semi-closed rebreather mode, which we know we could take a certain amount of breaths while on the loop before having to re-dill flush it again to keep our PO2 from dropping to a point where we would go hypoxic and pass out. So in other words, we also could lose our primary on the KISS, our primary computers, and have a methodology to get all the way back up to the surface, even while remaining on the loop. Yeah. You always can choose to get off the loop and bail out and go back on open circuit. For all of you open circuit divers, at that point, you just don't have a computer, but you do have an off-board computer. And what he means by that is that one wasn't connected to the loop. It didn't know your PO2. It was estimating your PO2 at 1.2. That's what he said.
Yep.
So you would push a button on that computer and tell that computer, hey, I'm now on open circuit, and I told you, computer, what gas that I'm breathing. So you can use that computer to get you up, including any deco stops you may have, because it knows what you're breathing now on open circuit.
Yep.
I hope all that makes sense. I think each of these deserve... This is fun for me. This is right out. I just taught a rebreather class, and these are the skills we're doing. I've obviously never cut anything, and now we're going to cut the counterlungs. Next level.
Yeah.
by cutting the bottom exhaust counterlung.
Oh man. Wow.
And in theory, you can cut the left counterlung open, completely open, actually a third of the counterlung, and you can go to the inhalation side and do the same thing. And then you can maintain a bubble in the over-the-shoulder counterlung over your shoulders and swim out.
Interesting.
We cannot.
Yeah, I got quite a big hole. Gas just pours out when I hit the ADV. I'm doing fine. So I have no handsets to monitor the O2. All I have is one sensor that's displaying on the HUD, and I have the solenoid that's still maintaining the set point in the back. If the solenoid would have failed, well, then I would have had the HUD to maintain, to tell me what I'm breathing. Turn around, and now I'm going to finish decompression and have a leisurely ascent. Had plenty of bailout gas, plus a lot of other Meg divers around me, so I didn't have any worries at all. And the Meg on my back was great. All right, here I am checking my HUD. It's reading 1.2.
So he's still.
And here I am near the surface. I boost up the O2.
By the way, he's mentioned HUD a few times.
There you go.
So
Thank you. That's so funny, Gus. I was going to stop at the same and say the same thing. Go ahead.
So HUD stands for heads-up display. So is this little thing that he has right here has LEDs on it. If you see it on the mask, you'll see the reflection of the lights. So the lights will be like green, yellow, or red to tell you if it's low or close or whatever, or right on point. Those HUDs are different. Like some of them will have LEDs horizontally or vertically, or they're different. Like every rebreather comes with their own type of thing, but that's the purpose of it, is that it's right by your eye, and it keeps you on top. So if he's blinking green, that means he's on 1.2. You're on a good set, even though the computers are not connected. His little LED is telling him that you're cool.
I think his HUD he didn't cut. What he was saying is he had one of the 3 cells remaining and his HUD. So in his case, he didn't lose all of his computers, or he would have had to either dill flush his way out or bail out.
Yeah.
About
so you can see that. You can see the reflection right there. I'm going to keep my mouse on it.
See that on the HUD.
See? It's red. It's blinking right there. That's the HUD. Heads-up display. Yes.
Man, he destroyed this rebreather.
So let's look inside. There's no water.
Wow.
It's amazing.
Yeah, we don't.
We don't have the size of this cut too. It is huge.
Oh my goodness.
It's bigger than I thought. Basically, it's a challenge to the other manufacturers that put your corporate officers on the line, but the
Well, I think Mike has put himself on the line a lot for kids, and it's again. I think this video was made when there was a lot of competition. A lot of companies were coming up with rebreathers, and he wanted to show that Meg rebreathers are solid, and it is true. Meg rebreathers are solid. Kiss rebreathers are solid, and other companies are solid too. I mean, rebreathers have only gotten better and safer over time, and unfortunately, we've had some deaths in the past, but what they do is they tell us and they tell manufacturers what to do to prevent further deaths like that in the future. So it only keeps getting better and better.
It does. And it also, the very first thing you said when you started this video is, we believe we have more options, safety options on a rebreather than we do on open circuit. So here we are full circle, basically showing you, as in the video where I explained things, that we have options even when there are massive failures, not little failures, right? We could either potentially stay on the loop with a dill flush and get out of it, or bail out.
Yeah, and when you are in open circuit, there's not a whole lot of options, right? Like your first stage fails, you're going up, try to get there as quick as possible, or get to your buddy or whatever it is. Like there's not a whole lot of options, unlike rebreathers where we do have more options, which is great. Anyway, that was the video today. It was very interesting. We have had some failures in the past.
Yes.
There was one time at Jog Hole where, after going through a tough restriction, Woody's rebreather, his ADV, failed, and we got the whole thing on video, which was great. And I'm going to leave that video right here. Hope you guys enjoy it. and we'll see you on the next one.
Bye, everyone.